So Ari Kaufman comes on with a Cleveland hat and a Minnesota warm-up. Look for the Kansas City Royals to win the Central Division. Welcome to As You Know. I am Kurt Crowley. This is episode number 10. I'm not going to call it a historic episode or a landmark episode. We'll wait till we get episode 25 or 50 or wherever. But joining us is AJ Kaufman, per usual. We've had Bob Ajak step in a couple of times over the last week to get some different viewpoints on. But AJ, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. Spring is springing.
You have shown me that there are leaves actually showing up on your trees here where you are, which I think I've had for about 6 weeks now. So let's count it down 4 months and a few days, and you'll start sending me the Minnesota fall color report.
Yeah, by mid-September for sure, or you'll send it to me. I don't know. It's
I'll probably send it to you first. But I didn't have a lot of time to ask come on today, and I said, well, you know what? Just look at the headlines and just look at your email and your text, and we might as well start with what happened in your neck of the woods last night, being on the national news, which you wrote on Alpha News Minnesota today.
Yeah, it's funny because I go to that Wells Fargo every so often to withdraw money. I actually was almost there on Wednesday, the day before, to actually dispute a charge they had put on my card. For long story, but man, this guy was disputing a charge also apparently, and so I didn't take hostages when I disputed the charge, but this gentleman who had a bit of a background. Oh, you might as well pull up my article, I guess. Yeah, it's about halfway. They moved it off the top. It's down a little bit.
I noticed that when they put your articles up, they have maybe an hour and a half lifespan before it is settled down to the bottom.
Well, the commentary ones get pushed down quickly, but the St. Cloud News one, you might have to go up. Actually, they've revamped the website a little bit, but it's there. It is.
Well, it's the first of your 200, and I can't believe you are a Wells Fargo customer. Well, I mean, you could go to the local bank and get your Buckaroo savings account. Put $20 in that, and you'd be off and running.
That's true. I've been a Wells Fargo client since I was in high school, so we're talking like 25 years at this point, just about.
Since your Riverside days.
No, since high school.
Wow. But you mean your La Jolla Country Day?
No, Country Day. That's Ryan Phillips' La Jolla Country Day. I went to La Jolla Public High School.
La Jolla Public High School. Now, was that like a high-class high school, or was there a lot of busing over there from Southeast San Diego?
Good question. It was a mix. There were a lot of middle and upper middle class kids from La Jolla. And then we bussed in, I think a third of the students were bussed in from Southeast San Diego, which were mostly Hispanic and African-American. So it was quite a mix. They stopped the busing program, I think, a couple years after I graduated, because like many of these government and school programs, it didn't really work. They were looking for numbers about how many of these kids would wind up going to 2-year and 4-year colleges, as if that's the only measurement. And it wasn't as high as they wanted. And I guess to their credit, they stopped that program, which is usually these programs never stop. But it was a kind of a segregated campus in that sense. I have to be honest, except for sports. Sports, as often is the case, is where all the races come together and get along pretty well.
Well, it used to be that way. It still is for the most part that way, but we now see politics even entering.
Oh yeah. I meant at the high school level, like Mexican kids and white kids and black kids and Asian kids get along pretty well when they're playing in the same baseball, football, soccer team, generally speaking.
But so here we go in, as the SCSU hockey commentator would say, here we go. the Dave Reichel.
Well, I didn't hear about it till like 6:00 p.m. I just hadn't paid attention to the local news. It really did start around 2, but you didn't see crowds gathering and much coverage till about 5 p.m. Central. A gentleman who had a pretty big record came in and had an issue and demanded to go into the vault. And then they reported him, and we had a 8-hour, almost 9-hour standoff. The hostages, thankfully, were all, not thankfully, but they were all bank employees, no customers.
Yeah,
I'm guessing a lot of people aren't going in the bank still yet, so it wasn't too crowded.
And I was on the road. I was driving back to the Batcave here when all this was going down. And then, I kind of decompressed myself from the news and that for a while. Then I put the computer back on and going, oh, what the heck's going on in St. Cloud? And you didn't really know how many, quote, hostages or bank employees or customers. A lot of, I can tell you 2 banks about just up the street from me. One of them, just the U.S. Bank, just closed. They've leveled it. They're going to turn it into a jet splash car wash. And other place across from that, you cannot get in unless you identify yourself as having an account with that bank. I was trying to go in there one day, getting off the bus in the middle of a downpour. I just wanted to hang out in the lobby for 5 minutes while the downpour dissipated. And they wouldn't let me do that. So I think that tells you where the banking industry is going, with most of it being online and a lot less of it being brick and mortar, and like a lot of other industries, brick and mortar becoming a dinosaur.
Yeah, although St. Cloud seems to have an abundance of small banks, like local banks, Liberty Bank, Stearns Bank, Credit Union. In fact, they're building 2 or 3 of them right now. So I don't know. There seem to be small banks going up here a lot. Maybe that's Minnesota. I don't know.
Unless, what happens in time is we're talking maybe 10 years from now, and they merge with the U.S. Bank, or they merge with Wells Fargo, or they merge with some other regional bank. It becomes part of Pinnacle Bank or something. Pinnacle extends their tentacles. Pinnacle Bank actually is in Colorado too. They're known as Bank of Colorado over there. But now, did the perpetrator have a firearm? I have heard.
Yeah, he pulled out a gun. He pulled out a gun right away.
Okay, as I was hearing conflicting reports on that, and I don't know. Oh, I'm only on CNN because they had some good comedy on there. But might check out the Fox website. If I can move this, there we go. Because I thought I saw something that, or maybe it was in the St. Cloud paper. And I'll look at the St. No firearm found on suspect.
And that's updated. That's as of an hour.
I wanted to look at that before we went on here. So this is about 45 minutes ago, as we're speaking right now at 2:09 Central Time. That and this is, of course, per the. So we don't know what was going on or not going on with the firearm. It's obviously a developing story, and while it's already buried, something else. So there was some school shooting or something. No one got killed. Something went down in Idaho. And it's like, if the teacher wanted to take off another year, it might be on the course of how many school shootings there are going to be going forward. I hate to predict that way. But going just down the list of a lot of, you always say you've got several emails and several texts, and there is big news on Joe Biden with the jobs report today. It was not good. If you can fill me in a little bit on what the stats were.
Well, if you go to, did I send you the Ben Sass screenshot? Tiny little, did I text you Ben Sass's comments? He's not on Twitter, but he had a post that someone retweeted that was quite good. Go to, is it in your text?
No, I'm looking offhand, but let me go on the fly, try to find what's up with.
You know what you could do? You could go to, I think it was Guy Benson who retweeted it. You can go to Guy Benson's Twitter. He's an analyst, Guy Benson.
Okay. We'll go to Guy Benson, and actually I wanted to go to Twitter. I'm glad you directed me there because there's some good comedy out of Matthew Dowd as well.
Oh boy, I'm sure there is.
He's making, he wants an extended run at King of the Hill, I think.
So yeah, if you go, yeah, there, it won't be the most recent tweet, I'm guessing, but if you,
I always hate these pinned tweets from, well, here we go.
Keep going. I mean, I can read all these later.
Yeah, there's something going on with Jimmy Carter. Oh, Biden's not even qualified to be the next Jimmy Carter. I think it was something that was.
Guy, you have a weird different setup than I do.
Oh yeah, it's telling me to look up Joe Rogan and everything. It's like, well, I never list. I look at somebody's website once and then I always do that. So we
don't want replies. Okay, I've got it. I've got it in front of me. Ben Sass said that we should be clear about the policy failure at work here. There are 7.5 million jobs open on the US, but only 300,000 people found new work last month. Why? The tragedy is what happens when Washington know-it-alls decide to pretend they're generous by paying more for unemployment than for work. This obviously hurts our economy, but more precisely, it hurts the people on Main Street in the nation. Anyway, the point is there were very few jobs that were filled last month, despite expectations. Hot Air had a good recap of it earlier this morning. Was it not a good jobs report? And it's not surprising.
They try to put a spin on it.
Of course they do, and all politicians.
And here you go. I have a perfect caption. Say what?
Did he say what?
No. Oh no, now they've updated it. Now it's something else. Biden reacts to weak jobs report, says U.S. still digging out of an economic collapse, but on the right track. The April jobs report showed that just 266,000 new jobs added and rising unemployment.
Why do you, once in a generation crisis, once in a century pandemic. Yeah, I get all that. The second part's a myth. It's not a once in a generation economic crisis in the sense it's not like 2009. This was an artificial crisis. So you're giving people, as you know, you're giving people money to stay home. Well, a lot of people aren't going to go back to work when they're making close to as much or more money to be home. And Democrats, I can't imagine they're that ignorant to not understand that, but sometimes it makes me wonder because, it's good through September. You're not going to have people looking for work until at least September. A lot of people aren't. And restaurants are going to have fewer waiters and fewer employees, and Home Depot will have fewer employees, and it's going to, be messy for everyone. And that's what happens when you extend these things. And certain states, as you know.
And I do hear, there are those that tell me, well, if you're having a hard time finding a job right now, don't worry, you'll get more off unemployment. And myself, I don't roll that way. I've been working the last few months, and I like being there every day. I'm not worried about the money in that, but it's there in case of an emergency. I know none of us want to wind up out on the street, but we want to be out there working. I'm going to be hopefully, as you know, doing some work for Alpha News in the coming weeks, as you have done for the past. How long have you been with Alpha? A little over a year now.
Just over a year. It was the early part of May, I believe. My first article was published. Yeah.
And you have numerous other writing agendas. It's like you patch your career together doing about a half different things right now.
Yeah,
And I'm kind of the
I
same
have it.
way.
Yeah, yeah. You can do it.
So,
You don't get benefits and you don't get 401k type things, but it 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 works for some
well,
people. And
yeah, they end my assignments. I get my little pink slip in the mail when I become eligible for insurance and all that kind of things. But I guess this was as of last night. Don Bacon, Jeff Fortenberry, Deb Fisher, Ben Sass, they were at a federal legislative summit at the Strategic Air Command
wow,
and Aerospace. I think you've been there.
I've been
I
there, right
know,
there in Ashland, right above the Platte River in
yes, I
Ashland,
think it's
Nebraska.
off is that off I-80?
Yep, about halfway between Omaha and Lincoln. Nice museum. Yep.
Okay, I'm sure you've been there. I'm sure Andy Rain has been there in the past.
Not
But
sure about Tad and Tony though. Or Lee.
I mean, for Tad and Tony, a trip to Omaha would be like that's like Paul Lucas saying going 14 months without leaving Brooklyn during the pandemic. I mean,
Oh my
it's
God.
like
Oh,
he's like an
Uncle.
old football scouting guy named Joe Bushbaum, who way back in the day was on the radio on everything that involved the NFL draft. But this guy never left Brooklyn. If he went to Manhattan, it was like going to another planet. And he worked for Pro Football Weekly, and Hub Arkush, who ran things over there, was trying to get him to Chicago. Hey, let's take in a Cubs game or something. And he went, it was like a trip to Mars for him. And he had a
It's
whole room full of notes, pre-computed and everything on every potential draft pick of the last 20 years. But that's another story. But it was going back to last night. All 5 members of Nebraska's Republican congressional delegation voiced their opposition to federal tax hikes proposed by the Biden administration. And I'm trying to find a good money quote from Sass in here. Senator Deb Fisher said, those extreme tax increases would be devastating for Nebraska's families, egg producers, and the economy. How do you rank Deb Fisher alongside Ben Sass?
Well, they're different. Deb Fisher, you're not going to pretty much ever see on television.
Right.
She's a farm. Well, Ben Sass was raised in a farming community too, but she's definitely was raised and lived and ran businesses in small towns in Nebraska, like Valentine. And she's conservative, but she's not outspoken. Doesn't get into the drama when Trump was around. But I'm sure her voting record is as conservative, not more, than Ben Sass. And she's, wins re-election pretty easily. It is Nebraska, much like, unfortunately, here in Minnesota, where despite it being a large state, the Twin Cities run the state basically. And if you're a Democrat, you're probably going to win statewide election pretty easily. But Sass is certainly going to be around more. He's not on social media anymore, but he certainly is a clever, intelligent person and a conservative, and has written 2 books and is, big into civil, what's the word he likes to use? Education at the level of basically teaching us about the Constitution and go ahead.
Well, it looks like I found the money quote from Senator Sass. Rather than focusing on efforts to tax and spend more, the Biden administration should be finding more trade markets and cutting red tape so we can keep feeding the world.
Yeah, he's talking about farming there. That's going to resonate with Nebraska, Iowa, the Dakotas, even parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin and Illinois. It should.
Oh, yeah. It's just driving down. I was driving down back from South Dakota, where I am, yesterday, and I'm seeing the truckloads of chickens and all that. And that's been on the news. We are having shortages, everything from chlorine to chickens. You might not have a place to swim this summer. Well, not like we had a place to swim last summer neither, but for a slightly different reason. But yeah, it seems like it is hitting a wide gamut of products and services and foods, these food shortages. And then we have a president of the Farm Bureau said no farm or ranch should be broken up or forced to sell because of government tax burdens. So we have, you have a governor's election coming up in 2022, I believe, in your state. in Minnesota?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think just about every state does. You've got one too. Ricketts,
Yes.
Governor Ricketts is not eligible to be
Right.
reelected.
But the old governor, you probably know more about him than me.
Heineman.
And then there is someone who has launched a major campaign in recent days. I see the billboards he's claimed. His motto is
Herbster, right? Herbster,
yes.
I think. I see him. I saw him when I was driving there last week.
Yeah, good. Making the good life even better or something, and that's no bull, or I forget what the slogan. That's no bull was the end of the slogan. That's why I kind of don't like this good life kind of model. You know, it's like the ad where you say, okay is not okay, or is a good life really that good a life?
Well, it's a state motto. I mean, I don't even think Minnesota has a state motto, but certain towns do.
America's finest city.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit arrogant. Maybe in 1984.
Yeah, yes. Well, I mean, San Diego got that model, or they gave themselves that model. Yeah, it's like in the 60s, they won like a.
Yeah, but people at ESPN who have no clue who go there once a year to stay at the best hotels haven't quite figured out that this is 2021 or whatever. They still use that motto when, nothing against San Diego. I still think it's better than LA and San Francisco, but it's absolutely not America's finest city. I mean, weather-wise, maybe, but for the average moron announcing sports to say that is just irresponsible.
You can't be talking about Jason Benetti, can you?
Well, Mike Tirico, anyone from any of those.
Tirico's on another network now, but we tend to like these announcers more. I notice once they leave ESPN. I enjoyed Jason Benetti when he's doing the White Sox games. Now, I listen to him just because I didn't want to put up with Matt Vasgersian. I listened to his StatCast version of the Sunday Night Baseball broadcast. And I know you are an absolutely huge fan of StatCast, sorry.
Yeah, it's really done great for baseball. It's really helped.
But, I just, Matty V, it's like I got to be in a certain mood for it. But
you want to talk some baseball? You want to talk about the Brewers, Twins, Indians, all that?
Well, the Brewers, Twins, and as someone would tell me, the Cleveland Baseball Club.
No, it's the Cleveland Indians. They have not changed their name, so it's bad enough that they're changing their name from the name of a country, which and for no reason.
Indianapolis, Indiana. Here. I mean, like I said, I read your news feed, the text that you sent, or the emails you sent me this morning. We have news out of South Dakota too. Governor Kristi Noem says the media lied about the Sturgis rally after the reports debunk sensational coverage. Now, did anything really that bad come out of the Sturgis rally, which was supposed to be the ultimate super spreader event?
A little bit. I mean, and of all the events, you would think that would be the one. There's an older population. They're nearby. But if you pull up the article, was it in Hot Air that I sent it to you or National? I don't know where it was, but I probably sent you a screenshot, huh? Or maybe I sent you the email.
Well, I am looking at it right now. Oh, and you also, the Mariupol, the Phoenix County audit as well.
Well, if you pull up the Kristi Noem, we can look at it. Just the first paragraph or two kind of summarizes her point. I don't know what website was it on, Kurt. I don't have.
I would have to find out. I erased the story. I tried to. I hate my.
It was from Alpha News. It was from Alpha News. Oh,
that's what I thought.
Go to Alpha News. Duh.
Okay, I'll go back to Alpha. And I'll search this out.
Should be right near the top, actually. It was up there at the top. No, that's my stuff. Just go to the main page.
Okay.
And then go down. Hey, by the way, we'll have to look at this later. That just posted. That's a Kaufman article. We'll look at that at the end. That just posted. Wait, not yet. Don't spoil it. Let's go to Noem real quick.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Rose Williams.
Rose Williams, right. So yeah, you can look at it. She's saying the media lied. She was on Fox and Friends this morning, live from Pier. What a beautiful woman she is,
That is a little off the beaten path to have a state capital, but that's another story.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice little town, but it's definitely. So yeah, she said it was political. It probably was. And you can see only 650 cases out of the 500,000 people who attended it. And that's not even serious cases, mostly. There you go. 2/3 of them or so were primary cases. It's just, and again, that would have been the one event you might think could be a super spreader. It's a lot of it is hype. I know Trump had some events at the White House that people thought would be super spreaders, and some people did get sick, but no one died. Herman Cain is the highest profile person to die from COVID. He got it when he attended, I believe, a Trump rally in Tulsa indoors.
Prominent, not even a player, but let's say a coach or somebody. Like, let's say we got, just to pick a name out just because he's about 70, let's say Bill Belichick or Pete Carroll got extremely sick or, God forbid, passed on from it.
Right.
And that would be a story. That would be a story. But, we've had, and I've expressed concerns, the entire Vancouver Canucks organization, all the players, coaches, broadcasters, everyone caught I guess, I don't know if it's an Indians train that has hit the west coast of Canada. Now, before I got on with you, I saw a headline out of the Denver paper that said that the Indians train has shown up in the Denver area. To what extent or how much that's being exaggerated, I have to look into further, but there are the concerns out there. But then again, I pull up every time we're on, we pulled up the Wildometers numbers, and it's down this week. These are weekday numbers. It's been about 45,000 cases a day, and these are the lowest numbers since last July.
You're not going to get our friend Bob, I have no idea why, he's a young guy, and others to understand this. They're not going to let go of it. They want the pandemic. They want the masks. They want the security. They want the free money. They want the shutdowns. They don't care about people who are out of work. They don't care about families who are out of school. It's a perfect, I'm not saying, no one said, I'm not a conspiracy person. I'm not saying it was a pandemic like some people call. It's a legitimate, horrible story.
I did hear one of your friends talk conspiracy. I visited your old workplace. And somebody, my lips are sealed, but his initials are TW. He was talking some serious conspiracy stuff this morning.
On Facebook or where?
No. At your old workplace. I stopped by.
I was saying, how do you know? I was trying to figure out how you knew that.
No. I stopped by to see Andy Rain. He did a favor for me, and TW was in there. Mr. West, he was, he was talking conspiracies to someone.
Well, that's unfortunate. But the SPs in our office and the BBs, if you know what I'm talking about, they don't want to leave the house. And you know how many people of the 580,000 people who have died, do you know how many of them are under 18? It's 278. Again, every death is important and sad, but it doesn't affect kids. It doesn't affect healthy people under 60, really. 91% of the deaths in Minnesota have been over 65, and no celebrities, no athletes, one politician, a former politician. So it doesn't matter who dies. I'm just saying it's over. It's May. The numbers are going to continue going down. We vaccinated 60% of the country or whatever it's going to be. You're never going to get more than 70 or 75% because some people just aren't going to take the vaccine for various reasons. I got mine this week. You've gotten yours, but that's it. Okay. I mean, you can't just keep ruining people's lives because you want to see 0 deaths or something. And our governor is waiting till July 1st to end the mask mandate. And he was criticized for that, rightfully so. But it's a start, I guess. He's giving, 6 more weeks, 7 more weeks.
No. And speaking of mask, I don't know if I should put too much of me. I'm not going to play the whole thing because at one point I said, we're not like Muslim women that have to be covered.
I heard you yesterday. I saw that yesterday.
And that's why I said that. Now, okay, Muslim men are like that, and Muslim women have to go like the full And it's like, this is kind of how I've been feeling like the last 14 months. So all right, no more. Let's see, for all I know, YouTube may have already removed it. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm looking at it all morning, and I didn't see anything on there. Well, you'll find this. If it's on there, great. If not, here we go. And I'll put this up, promote this more. Hey, this is Crowley here. I'm standing in front of Sioux Falls, South Dakota VA clinic, and I was denied access. Well, I had to put on one of their kind of masks because now they don't allow gaiters. So now not only do I have to wear a mask, they're now telling me, they're doubling down and telling me what kind of mask to wear. So based on some Duke University study last year, and I don't know how they got their information from. But anyways, the one thing that I'd like to say right now is that COVID-19 was not an excuse to take away the civil liberties of Americans and to force us to wear stupid face coverings like we're Muslims or something. So it's just like I saw yesterday, and I think everyone should repeat this message until there is change. Like the social justice platform.
They say
one change. There needs to be change. So I am going to say, no more mask. 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 No more masks.
Where were you? The VA?
Yeah, I was. I wanted to get some information at the Sioux Falls VA yesterday, and I'm at the reception. You have to take that face covering off. They were wanted me to take one of the. Now that's the first time I've been asked not to wear a gaiter, and we've been through this for about a year now. And then here I get in my car here. No more mask. No more mask. I feel a lot better now.
Well, that's a federal building. That's why,
Yes,
Maybe.
it was the VA hospital in Sioux Falls. We're not. Well, I guess it is a federal building.
Yeah, that's why. Otherwise, no, because South Dakota doesn't have a mask mandate. Never did.
It was. I was telling you, I was loving it. I was running some errands, getting some products, and I couldn't believe there are people in establishments there, wellness and types of places like that. Now, great clubs, they still have to wear a mask in there, but some other venues like the gas stations and that, you don't see the employees wearing masks anymore. Now, even I will say that they should be worn in the grocery store and that. I had to grab a couple things at the Leon's Groceries down the street there, which is a nice, yuppie Pete Ringsmooth type of place. Actually, a great grocery store, great little grocery store we have in town. But obviously you have to wear them in the grocery stores, and you have to wear them in other places. But except in the South Dakota, it's like a different world. It's like, wow.
Yeah, and if you ask your friend Bob or my friends here, they'll think they're experimenting in human sacrifice, but they've been saying that about Texas and Georgia and Florida for months, and it's never happened. The facts have shown these people are wrong. And now private businesses can still not allow you in without a mask. Fine, that's their decision. You can decide not to go. But the statewide mandate states, Minnesota, New York, California, et cetera, have done worse. So tell BB and SP and other people that their virtue signaling masks are not helping save lives.
I love seeing them on an Amazon commercial or something. And like the little line I always say every time I see some Amazon worker or a KFC worker or a Burger King worker with their mask on, I go, oh, you're wearing a mask. I get it in my most feminine voice. And then it's like, then you have the mask police out there on Facebook or whatever. They come out with terms like chin bibs, or when people have their masks down here, or when people do it like this, and I'll see some comment that it's like wearing a condom with a hole in it, or
Yeah, I've heard that.
I mean, and like I get this box of 9 different ways of how people wear masks. I'll wear the damn thing the way I want to wear it. Now I know at certain places that means I gotta have my nose covered, and I don't know. We never got around to needing the whole full face shield because it also spreads in the eyes. And then, can you imagine being on a pro football team or something, or MLB team, and having to get this swab every single day? And then I hear the Chinese are up in the ante and they want to do anal swabs now. I mean, the cinnamon French toast?
Well, let's talk about the Twins and Twins, because Twins is about baseball and about BLM and mask and everything else. So it kind of encapsulates all of that. If you want to go back to that article that was posted just now, I guess, while we've been on the air, I sent it out last night, and they got it up there. And this is my 3rd article in the last 36 hours.
There is a sign. I guess it's the bullpen wall, because there's a fence there so the pitchers can see through it. And then at the bottom of that, it says justice for George Floyd.
Yeah, and racism, as you see in my article. These are stupid sayings. Okay, justice for George Floyd, fine. I mean, that's still a partisan saying. And racism is the dumbest, most vacuous, meaningless, trite, juvenile expression. Like, of course, yeah, and you can't do that, dude. I mean, how stupid do you have to be the Minnesota Twins ownership, PR, to put that on the wall? I mean, what about end abortion? What about support the police? I mean, what are you going to put everything on there? Anyway.
Well, I think it goes back to knowing the full history of the Minnesota Twins.
Well, but every team has someone in their past.
Exactly. We could go back with every organization for, there are 3 teams right now: the Red Sox, the Giants, and the Diamondbacks, with no black players on their 24-man roster as of a couple.
Doesn't mean they're racist. And look at their AAA roster and their AA. I'm just saying, you promote based on merit in baseball. With a few exceptions, we've seen a couple guys get promoted, I think, without merit. But, look at the contracts we've given to people like Mookie Betts and Jason Hayward, and not to mention Lindor and Machado and Tatis. None of those 5 guys.
What's Lindor hitting now?
157. I mean, again, and of those guys,
look at is his expected batting average. I was looking at Miguel Cabrera's 0.98 average.
Yeah, but he's in the Pujols realm. He's a Hall of Famer, and it was a bad contract, but he's 40
even his quote expected, and I guess they're throwing in what he barrels up or what his exit velocity is, or how they shift them, and that they say even his expected batting average, if he had quote average luck, would be 150. Which indicates a player that's done, obviously.
Well, that's fine. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. It's the people like Lindor, who I like, by the way. He played for Cleveland. The Cleveland fans, by about midway through last year, couldn't wait to get rid of him. And how dumb the New York sports fans and media and team are to actually sign that guy for even $10 million a year, when at best he's going to hit you 240, 250 with 15 or 18 home runs. And at worst, at this point, he's going to hit you 150 with 4 home runs for the year at this pace. So, but that's a whole different story.
No, I remember when they signed him. I must have MLB channel on, or I don't know how I got it that day, but I heard Howie Rose, it's one of the Mets' longtime announcers, blowhard announcers, and he said, "Oh, this guy helped this team in so many ways on the base path, on the field."
No, he's not. He's a terrible base runner, by the way. He's a great defensive player. He's a terrible base runner. He's never good in the clutch. Look. The second that they signed Lindor, the second Machado was signed, the second that Tatis was signed, and the second that Donaldson was signed, and Betts is still pretty good, but not great. I said these are horrible contracts, and pretty much been proven correct. Machado had a nice year last year, but it was a fake season. Betts had a nice year last year, fake season. What did Machado do in 2019? Nothing. What has Tatis done this year? Some homers, low average. Lindor, terrible. Donaldson Donaldson had a great start. He's now 4 for his last 37, Kurt.
Well, that's after I emailed you after he was 10 for 18.
Yeah, he had a great, I said you had a great start. Let's see what happens. Now, the guy has a good eye, and he's hit some balls hard that have been caught. I'm sure the moronic stat people can tell you that. But, yeah, yesterday comes up with a game on the line, swings and misses at 3 pitches in a row.
Now, I know some Milwaukee Brewers cannot hit their way out of a paper bag they haven't hit their way out of a paper bag all year. But
they're still in first place.
1-run games and then shut out 2-0 in Philadelphia this week. And it's a decent Phillies team, but
what were the expectations for the Brewers? What were the expectations for them? 85 wins, maybe?
At best, yeah.
Right. What were the expectations for the Twins? 90, 95 at least? No? Yes?
Because you got Detroit to beat up on.
Yeah, they have an easy division. That's the only reason they.
Detroit, by the way.
I got on Baldelli's case starting in the playoffs in 2019 when he misused he started Randy Dobnik in game 2 and inexcusably dumb decisions, pulling Barrios after 4 innings, did it again last year in the playoffs, cost them the games. He's a terrible manager, but the fact that they won 2 division titles to me didn't say much because they didn't beat anybody. Detroit and Kansas City have been terrible. The White Sox were finally decent last year, and the Indians were mediocre. There's nothing impressive about winning that division the last 2 years. This year, there's a little bit better quality of play. The White Sox are good. The Indians are playing better than expected. Give them credit. I haven't followed them this year, and look how good they're doing. The Royals are improved. The Tigers are not good. But look at the Twins. Let's look at the article, Kurt, since you're the first person to see it. They are off to one of the worst starts in the whole franchise history. They're 11-19, second worst record in baseball to Detroit.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that. And I knew this was going to happen. It was one thing to have this show last year, the Spiegel show, when there were nobody in the stands and the first batter got to the batter's box and then let's walk off the field, or I'll take a knee and then walk off the field. Kumbaya. And at least nobody was at the game. But now, and of course, it was a game you attended. I remember that morning and you were on the way and I said, turn back, Ari. They're not going to play this game. And they didn't.
Scroll down, Kurt. Scroll down to where it starts with politics. So, I'm looking at the wrong screen. Okay, actually, go up a little bit.
This was the day after the most recent incident in Brooklyn Park.
Yeah. So, by the way, they're 0-8 in extra inning games, which is pretty amazing. That just shows managing.
Maybe they're not good with that rule package.
Well, it's not just that. They've also been outscored 22-1 in the 9th inning. That's about the bullpen, and it's about a manager that takes out his good starters. They have 4 good starters, and he won't let any of them go more than 80 pitches, and he brings in the worst bullpen in baseball. They've led in every game this year.
Now, I was at the hotel room where I got the Twins telecast, so I got to see the whole Twins live. And I'm seeing Baldelli's press conference. And I give him credit for knowing all of his reporters by name and
He's
name.
an asshole. He is. He freaking wears that stupid mask. He doesn't shave. He's 39 years old. He has no experience, and he doesn't ever.
All the Pioneer Press or Star Tribune or wherever reporters, they're doing it remotely. Am I correct on this?
Yes. Yes. There's no he doesn't need the mask in the dugout even. Frankly, none of the college coaches have it on.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you and I have been at and I don't mean University of Northern Iowa. We've been at the college, and you see some of it in that, but at least there is.
No, this is all Bob Bajek virtue signaling with the mask on. It's crap. The guy, he took a knee in the first game last year. He said things about the shooting. He had no idea he was talking about. He's trying to become the Steve Kerr of baseball, but he's also a terrible manager, kind of like Steve Kerr is a terrible coach.
That's a good comparison. I mean, that's not like Aaron Rodgers going, my general manager is Jerry Krause. I don't know if you heard that. I know you don't follow the NFL soap operas, but it's like, come on, Aaron, you've won 1 title. Jordan won 6 out of 8. Could have been 8 out of 8 if he hadn't taken the sabbatical. And
so you mentioned the game I attended 25 days ago. The Twins decided to cancel a game with fans already seated due to now I was not seated. I was halfway there due to a shooting in the suburbs, the Dante Wright shooting. No connection to the Twins, not in the same city. There were no riots that night downtown. There were some things going on in the suburbs, unnecessary. Now they're going to refund all the money or give people free tickets. A week later, the worst one was before the Chauvin verdict came in, they went crazy. The Polads, 90-year-old billionaires, always the people with the most guilt and bigotry, sent a statement out that basically looked like it was written by, AOC or BLM Inc. And I'm not going to read it because it appalls me. But basically, they called the country racist twice. They talked about black people being shot.
They're horrified and ashamed.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. And why don't you worry about your team and your stadium and the fact that only 9 black people unarmed were shot in 2019? 9. There's no epidemic of it. The stats don't show there is. No one wants to see anyone dead. There was a white guy that was killed in the exact same way as George Floyd in Texas 5 years ago. That came out a story today. No one talks about that. It's just unbelievable. We pray our criminal justice system provides.
Is usually black on black crime, or it could be white on white, and it usually has to do with drug deals gone bad or what have you.
Well, that's not involving the police, so it's a little different. Though I agree that a lot of these LeBron James hypocrite, hateful morons, they don't ever talk about that. But police do not shoot a lot of black people that are unarmed in the country. I mean, 9 in the year, 9 more than there should be, I guess. But easy to say that when you're not a police officer. So screw you. Look at the Twins. Since the first statement, they're 6-16. Since the Derek Chauvin statement, they're 5-12. Their attendance sucks. The weather sucks. Their team sucks. The manager sucks. And their best player, Byron Buxton, is now injured. So screw you. You know what? You know what? Screw you, Twins.
Don't address on air. Well, maybe if their ratings is up, but I still don't know if I want to see that.
Yeah. Do you know, I've looked forward to going to a Major League Baseball game for 2 years, and F it, I'm not going. I'm not supporting this goddamn team. They may as well be working for Bernie Sanders. No, you're not getting my money. I'll watch minor league baseball. I'll watch college. I'll watch independent league, and I may even go to a game in a different city. But the way these fucking assholes are acting, they're not getting my money, and they're losing half their fan base with their shit. Why would you politicize something and sound like a left-wing bigot?
Can you tell us how you really feel, Mr. Kaufman?
I feel even more angry than that, frankly. And now their best player's hurt. That's the best thing. I like Byron Buxton, who, by the way, is a black man who probably likes BLM. He's having a great year. The guy's on pace to be MVP, and he got hurt.
Over at Faber Field.
Yeah, that too.
Now that's the passion we saw. That's the passion that got you kicked out of a playoff game at Faber Field years ago.
It did, 2016.
Yes.
let me read you something, by the way, on the Twins real quick. I read this.
You're on a roll. You're on a roll. I'm not going to get in the way.
Well, I told you the numbers.
Stephen Curry going off on a 60-point game.
MLB.com is not going to have any criticism of the Twins because they're owned by the corporation, the MLB corporation. You can't criticize teams. But the Twins blog, I think it's the SB Nation blog, which it's really not that great, but they had some good summary here. It said the Twins are 0-11 when games end early or late this year, as in 7-inning doubleheaders and extra inning games. 0-11.
Okay.
0-7 in extra innings, 0-4 in doubleheaders. That's almost like, that's statistically preposterous. It's amazing. And the guy said, a lot of fans are becoming frustrated with Baldelli's approach to managing. What made him look like a genius in 2019 as manager of the year is making him look weak now. He shakes up the lineup order every game. He puts relievers in that might not be the best matchup. He removes starters after 80 pitches. I added that in. He seemingly has a coddling attitude toward the struggling players, which doesn't sit well with fans who think he's not making good choices or isn't tough enough to take control of the team, and they are already calling for his job. Last thing, 4 days after Mitch Garver, that's the starting catcher, declared, we got to win every series between now and the All-Star break, the Twins went 1-3 against the Rangers team, a team that arrived in last place and has now departed with new life. The Twins led midway through all 4 games, but Texas outscored them 12-1 from the 8th inning on and won the last 3. That's managing. That is managing. You're not putting players in a place to win the games. He's a terrible manager, worse than Terry Francona. I've already figured that out.
Now, I never thought I'd hear you say that, because Terry Francona, you talk about as the worst manager of all time.
Well, if you look at he's pretty bad. I guess this year he's doing a good job. The Indians did well last year without him. But if you look at Baldelli, 0-5 in the playoffs, and all 5 of those games were winnable, and he made incorrect decisions with his pitching staff. And then this year, literally 11-19, I could honestly say they wouldn't win every game, but they could only be 20-10 without a moron manager. You take guys out that are at 75 pitches that are dominating to bring in the worst bullpen in baseball. There's not one of their 6 relievers who's good.
At their watch in front of the 50-inch screen. I can't believe how many channels they have in the Sioux Falls hotel room, but God, they have Midco and everything. But in any event, they have the Aussie guy pitching, who I don't know much about. You might know a little more about him. They take him out after 4 1/3, 4 2/3.
Thorpe, yeah. You know, he's a AAA guy, but still, I would give him another inning. Yeah.
But it was after that, it was like Katie bar the door. I don't know if I put all of that on the manager now.
No, but
I got Milwaukee. I'll continue to stand by him. You know, even when things are not going well, I like the direction that he continues to keep his team in. And what are you going to do when you have virtually half of your 26-man roster on the disabled? It was like 15 at one point.
Yeah, injuries can't help.
2 days and he's back out again. They don't have anyone that hits above 200.
Yeah,
you can do what the Mets did and fire the hitting coach.
Well, that's something that the Indians never did all those years, was fire their hitting coach. The hitting coaches do matter. These guys are professionals, but there are adjustments that can be made. If you see that 8 of the 9 guys are hitting under 200, that's too coincidental, you know?
Yes, but no, Chili Davis, you know, some remember way back in the day with the Angels and Giants.
Well, yeah, that's my era. I remember him in the 80s. Play for the Twins.
Yeah, it's a Crowley era player, yes. Yep, he was let go. That's when the first thing you know things are going wrong, the hitting coach gets let go. And after that, if you're the field manager or the base coach, you know, you're on alert. You're officially on alert at that point. But while we got some time, and I know this isn't in your wheelhouse, but and I tend to ignore it because Stephen A. Smith is going to talk about the entire show. But can the Green Bay Packers just get rid of Aaron Rodgers? I mean, he told every potential free agent, "Don't bother coming here. I'm leaving. I'm out of here." Okay, you've made your statement. You're not bluffing. Get out and let's. Last time I checked, Green Bay will field an NFL team this coming year.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, you don't want unhappy players. I mean, you see that all the time, no matter what sport.
And I have defended Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. I mean, if you want to talk about my favorite athletes, any sport, and yes, they happen to play for my hometown team or my regional team. But it ended ugly for Favre. And, you know, I get it then. It was they kind of wanted to get on Drew Rodgers, and they saw that he had the talent level that Favre had. And I remember when he was with Van Susten on Fox News like 3 nights in a row, and they're going, just come to your top of your lungs, you want to go to Minnesota. And he found a way to do it eventually. Now, Aaron Rodgers is saying, yeah, give me the heck out of here. And I don't know if it has to do totally with his engagement to someone who lives in Boulder, Colorado.
It's always the, you know, look at poor Prince Harry. He married one of the worst women on the face of the earth, that Meghan, whatever her name is. An anti-American communist racist moron.
Marriage or an engagement.
Yeah, you got to be careful who you marry. You don't hear anything about Albert Pujols' wife. She's probably a wonderful woman, or you know,
or Peyton Manning, let's say.
Yeah.
Deanna Favre, great woman, great actress, a breast cancer survivor.
Right. Tom Brady's wife is iffy. She's a little bit annoying, and I think she's a problem, but it doesn't really affect me.
Right, and that's fine. But I mean, at least she isn't some Hollywood type.
She's a model, right?
I could disagree totally. You know, yeah, breast cancer, it's like bad luck that can happen.
Drew Brees' wife is another. Yeah, there are a lot of good ones. Yeah.
You know, we're headed on Mother's Day weekend. I got my mama mascot out here. video bombing entire proceedings. So that's something else I meant to say it at the start is to say hi to all our moms and
Yes.
daughters
Hello.
and everything.
Made my mama watch this. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. And my birthday's tomorrow also. Come on now.
Now, is this HAKXLIV or HAK43 or are we on 44?
AJKXLIII? Is that?
We're on 43.
Yeah.
See, I was giving you an extra year. That would be something. My mom would be screaming, "You're 57 now." No, I turned 57 in like 4.5 months. Don't get ahead of yourself.
People like to add on the years.
Yeah, you're almost 60 now.
Right. I remember that. When I was like 35, my dad said, "You're almost 40." I said, "I'm 35."
You are quickly going on 45, and before you know it, and believe me, I've been there. The big 50 is coming fast enough. I actually got a Mother's Day rating from the Milwaukee Milkmen, who are starting up, defending champions. I mean,
I'm going. I gotta
we're gonna talk Milwaukee Milkmen.
Milkmen and Kenosha and Lakeshore. Got to hit all three possibly in the same trip, maybe.
There you go. And there was also breaking news yesterday. The mayor down in Atlanta is not running for re-election.
Yeah. Keisha Bottoms is as liberal radical mayor, as liberal, mayors of that type go. She's not bad. She's a pretty good leader. And here's the thing.
That was in evidence when things got haywire in Atlanta.
Right. She's 6 million times smarter and better than Kamala Harris. And yet look where Kamala Harris is now. A terrible senator, a terrible person, a terrible candidate, a bigot, and she's the vice president. And Keisha Bottoms
someone ripped her mask off. I want a face mask penalty on Kamala Harris.
Right. She's an idiot. She really is. Like, I wish Biden had picked Keisha Bottoms as the VP, even if I don't agree with her, be better. Kamala Harris is not only mean and a hypocrite, and she's really unintelligent. You watch her speak. I'm sorry. I'll say it's about Bernie Sanders and people too I don't like. She's not very smart. She's just not. Like, I don't say that often. Barack Obama I didn't like, but he's smart. Bill Clinton's smart. A lot of guys on the left I don't like are smart. Kamala Harris is not a smart woman. Her whole career has been based on her skin color.
It's not a lot of a resume there from what I've seen.
She's got everything she wants because of this racist country has promoted her all the way. Same with Michelle Obama. A lot of people who have been given everything due to their race or gender or what have you seem to hate the country a lot. It's really unfortunate. And you have good guys like Tim Scott, who don't use the race card.
And then I want to get to, you do so much yeoman's work for Alpha News.
Thank you.
And you had you were boots on the ground yesterday covering that hostage or whatever you want to call it situation.
Yeah.
And you had a thing with Scott Jensen, an interview earlier this week. Tell us a bit about that.
Last week I interviewed Scott Jensen, candidate for governor, and Mike Murphy, the other Republican candidate for governor. They're very different guys. Jensen's 66, Murphy's 36. Jensen's a medical doctor who served a term in the state Senate and has been on Fox News and other channels quite a bit talking about COVID. Murphy's the mayor of a small suburban town in Minneapolis and is a small business owner and is a young guy. Murphy's going to run more in the Trump populist lane, and Jensen's going to be more of the traditional conservative. And as of now, they're the only two serious candidates that are running to unseat Tim Walz next November. And a quick preview, I am going to be interviewing, hopefully later today or tomorrow, Tyler Kistner, who is a Marine veteran who ran for U.S. Congress in the 2nd District last year, and he lost a very close election. He's going to run again next year. Young guy also, I think 34.
Is that slightly askew too?
Yeah. Did Ed Morrissey call it that?
Yeah, there's Crazy Five and there's Slightly Askew.
That's
too.
Ed Morrissey's district. Yeah, it's a mixed district.
I don't know, Wisconsin, Nebraska are my states, so I don't follow that closely what is going on. And just because you're there and you write all that tremendous material for Alpha, and there were so many pie in the sky candidates that I know it seems like they're waiting for the next Jesse Ventura to.
Well, Mike Lindell's not going to run, so there's that.
Yeah, Mike Lindell, Matt Burke.
Burke is not running. Burke's endorsed Scott Jensen already. And honestly, the way these campaigns go, if you're not in by now, by May of the year before, it's almost too late.
And I mentioned that with Nebraska. It's like already, everyone's already set in place, and the election day is about a year and a half from.
I'll leave you with that. I was so confused driving around Nebraska. Not only the signs, we don't have billboards yet, and there were commercials saying "vote for me," and I'm like, well, it is early May. Maybe there's a primary. We don't have any commercials yet, believe me. So Nebraska's even farther ahead. My God, I mean, you're a full year before the primary, and you've got 30-second, 45-second paid ads for Herbster and the other gentleman whose name I forget.
Oh, yes. And, when Senator Sass mentioned, kind of got off the Trump bandwagon a little, which still doesn't appease the Charlie Sykes types, who's someone
you can't appease him.
He hasn't worn his regular running shoes in 14 months.
Charlie Sykes.
I guess he went on vacation in New England. I think he finally put on his civilian shoes. But he said he's been running around in a T-shirt and shorts and that. I mean, he's got to chase his dogs around in the backyard of his place in Delafield where it's 15 below zero. Like, got to put something on Sykes. Gee whiz.
Yeah, he's never going to work. You can't appease the real anti-Trump people. I shouldn't say anti-anti, but the anti-Trump people. Sass is anti-Trump, but you can't appease the never Trump crowd. There's a difference between anti-Trump and never Trump,
No,
all right,
exactly. And I think we've had I think we vented a little bit today.
Yes.
And I didn't want to get too far off the rails talking about this irrelevant Aaron Rodgers stuff, but that's the way it goes. So that's it for Crowley Channel, episode 10. We'll be back next week. We'll do it all over again. And I'm sure the world will be spinning around even more in circles by that point. So once again, happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Oh yeah, and bring back Paul Molitor. Bring back Paul Molitor. Fire Baldelli.
How much were you spell that for me for?
What?
The Molitor bobblehead. Or I may have to buy it off someone else.
Bring back Paul. Bring back Paul.
Your old hoodie from West Edmonton Mall.
That's right. All right.
West Edmonton Mall. But that's it for today. See you all next time. Have a great weekend, everyone.